Welcome to Clodagh Suppers. I'm going to show you how to make my beautiful beef stew with Herby potato dumplings. The beef stew is cooked with mushrooms and shallots and stout, and it's slow cooked for about an hour and a half, so it gets gorgeous and tender, just how we like our casseroles or our stews. And then on top, I'm putting these really lovely potato dumplings that have beautiful winter herbs all mixed through it. And then they soak up all of the juices of the stew and they get kind of crispy on top. It is heaven in a big bowl. It's hearty and warming and comforting and wholesome. So join me in the kitchen so I can show you how to make this gorgeous supper. So to make this gorgeous beef stew with Herby potato dumplings, you need some beef, pancetta or smoked bacon sliced into small pieces, chestnut mushrooms or wild mushrooms or button mushrooms, butter, shallots, some chestnuts that I've chopped up, some dark chocolate, garlic, some stout, some beef stock or vegetable stock if you prefer. And then for the potato dumplings, you need some potatoes. I use Mars Pipers, they're quite good for it. Flour, butter, and then mixed herbs. I've got flat leaf parsley, sage, and fresh thyme. So for the beef casserole, I'm going to cook it all in one big pot. So I want a little bit of butter in first, and then when it's melted, I'm popping in my beef, which is all cut into small little chunks. And I've tossed the beef in a little bit of flour, which helps brown it. So by browning off the beef like this, it does two things. The first thing it does is it seals in all of the juices, and because I've floured it as well, that really helps keeping in all the moisture so you get a really juicy meat when you eat it. And then the other thing it does is it creates texture, and texture is really important when you're eating as well. So I'm peeling my shallots, but they're small little shallots, so I'm keeping them whole. There's something about making like a beef stew casserole for me, because I grew up in Ireland. And you know, we're quite well known for making our stews and our casseroles, and there's something really warming and hearty and kind of comforting about like a big pot of stew. What I've been doing while the beef is cooking, I'm scraping the bottom of the casserole dish with my wooden spoon, and that gets up all of the gorgeous flavors that are building up here. So the beef is browned and sealed. Put it back on. I'm adding in my pancetta. You could add in, you know, regular smoked bacon, streaky bacon, but just sliced up into small dices. And then I'm putting in the whole shallots, and I want to get them lovely and golden brown and a little bit crispy. I think it'd be really beautiful to serve my blackberry pie as a dessert with this, and then invite me around. You'll find the recipe video for my blackberry pie in the playlist for desserts. So all that gorgeous smoky flavour from the pancetta is just going to get oozed into those shallots. And they just go in on top of the beef. And then I put another small piece of beautiful Kerrygold salted butter. So my butter is melted, in go my mushrooms, chestnuts which are sliced up, and the garlic. I'm gonna put some pepper in there. Again, I'm just browning these and also getting some nice texture on the mushrooms. While I'm doing that, I'm scraping all those lovely bits at the bottom. And now I'm going to put all the ingredients back into the pot. So my pancetta, my shallots, my beef, my mushrooms, my chestnuts, my garlic, and I'm tearing in some lovely fresh thyme. And then lastly, I'm going to put in my stout, my beef stock, and some dark chocolate. And then my stock. So the dark chocolate is gorgeous in beef stews. It creates a really velvet texture and a lovely depth of flavour in it. It's my favourite thing to add to a beef stew. So I've brought my casserole dish up to the boil, and when it hits the boil, turn off the heat and then pop it into a low heat oven for about an hour and a half. While that is slowly cooking and getting gorgeous, I am going to make my Herby potato dumplings. So for the Herby potato dumplings, peel your potatoes, and I fill them then about 1/3 of the way with water. Then I bring it to the boil, reduce the heat, and let them steam away. It takes about 30 to 35 minutes for them to cook. So my potatoes have cooked and I've mashed them. And then I add in some flour, my gorgeous herbs. So I have a flat leaf parsley, lovely fresh sage, and some fresh thyme that I'm going to mix in. Pull the leaves of the thyme off their stalk. They're going to infuse these lovely potatoes and make them into gorgeous herby potato dumplings. So you just mix all the flour and the mashed potato and the herbs together well. So for these, I'm making these big, right? So they're going to be the size of just a smaller size. Beef stew should be done right by now. I'll take it out of the oven. Oh, ooh. Oh, it smells lovely. I wish you could smell it. Oh, it's like caramelly because of the chocolate and the stout, and all of the shallots are plump with those beautiful juices. So over here in a saucepan, I've made a roux, which sounds quite posh, but it's really quite simple. It's basically equal quantities of melted butter and flour. So I put in like a couple of tablespoons of butter, a couple of tablespoons of flour, melt them down and whisk it together, and you get this consistency, which is like a mala, a little plasticine. And what that does is it thickens up the sauce. I usually do it for a lot of my stews that I'm doing. So the saucepan that I've made the roux in, I put over the heat, and then I pour my beef stew over the strainer. So what I'm doing is I'm going to thicken up all the juices. So turn the saucepan up to medium heat and then keep whisking it. And what you'll be doing is thickening up the sauce with the roux. So we've gone from a beautiful kind of broth style liquid to this really gorgeous, thick, chocolatey, stouty mushroom broth. It's beautiful. And then we just pour all this beautiful thickened sauce back over the stew. Oh, it's gorgeous. Who's coming for supper? Just mix it all around. And then next, my favorite part, and you just pop them into the top, like so, and they'll sink in about halfway. And the tops of them should get a little bit crispy. And then I don't cover it, and I turn up the heat of the oven a little bit. Pop them back in. Oh, this is pure Irish soul food. Stew juice is just bubbling away, and the potatoes have gotten nice and crispy on the top, and all of the shallots all plump with juices of the mushroom and chestnuts and chocolate and stout, and all been browned beautifully and glossed with gorgeous Kerrygold Irish butter. Oh. And then on the top, I'm just gonna put some lovely herbs. Just roughly tear them and sprinkle them all over it, just to give a lovely fresh flavour and liven it all up. So here we go, my big bowl of Irish soul food. My beef stew with herby potato dumplings. Make it for somebody, share it with somebody, brighten somebody's day. The recipe is below. If you like dishes like this, you'll also like my chicken casserole, which is over in the suppers playlist. So go make it and enjoy, and I'll see you soon.